is not a drill. This is not a drill. This is real. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. KBLA Talk 1580 radio family and Black Lives Matters grassroots family. Good morning and welcome. My name's Baba Akili. I'm the worldwide field coordinator for Black Lives Matters grassroots. I'm on the core team of Black Lives Matters LA and founding director of the Fannie Lou Hamer Institute and an instructor at UCLA in the Labor Studies Department. And joining me today as my co-host is Kim Holmes, organizer with Black Lives Matters LA, entrepreneur and mother of Aston. And thank you for being with us on This Is Not a Drill on KBLA Talk 1580. We're broadcasting every Saturday morning from 8 to 10 a.m., sharing on-the-ground updates, campaign, news, challenges, and victories from the front lines for justice. Before we get into our grounding and let me kind of tell you what's going on. We want to, of course, acknowledge ourselves and start with our land, labor, and life acknowledgement. And that's always helpful for me because it helps me get grounded. So what I'd like for you to do is just kind of chill, find a good spot, and then we're going to take some deep breaths. That'll certainly help me. As we jump into our land, labor, and life acknowledgement. We recognize that this country was built on the stolen land of indigenous people and the stolen labor and lives of our African ancestors. Now we want to take a deep breath. This land, which we inhabit in what is now known as Los Angeles, is physically situated in the original ancestral homelands of the Tangva, Quiche, Chumash, and Gabrielino people. We pay respect to the Tangva, Quiche, Chumash, and Gabrielino people, and all indigenous people, past, present, and future, and their continued presence in the homeland and throughout their historic diaspora. Take another deep breath. We pay homage to those who were stolen from Africa, placed in bondage, falsely named as chattel, and forced into labor, who were called slaves, but never submitted as such, who have always been fully human with an unbroken connection to the divine and to each other. We honor our African ancestors for their still unpaid labor, which built what is now the Americas. Let's take another deep breath. To both our indigenous and African forebears, we commit to continued struggle for liberations and reparations, for it is only through freedom and justice that we truly give honor. Ashe. All right. We are opening the show this morning in the names of Mitrice Richardson, Jesse Romero, Mike Brown, Marcus Garvey, whose lives were stolen by police. Their anniversaries are tomorrow, August 9th. We organize for justice in their names and for all the lives stolen by police and state-sanctioned violence. On today's show, we're going to be discussing the fight to reimagine Los Angeles and stopping the cost of harm. Joining us in our conversations today will be Dr. David Turner of the $1 Million Hoods organization, Maya Coleman of the Reimagine Los Angeles and Measure J Coalition, and soon we're going to be hearing from our good friend Hal Welton of Black Los Angeles, LA. For more than a hashtag segment, we will be speaking with Sister Helen Jones. Her son, John Horton, was murdered by sheriff's deputies in the men's central jail on March 30th, 2009. We'll be talking with Sister Helen Jones, whose son, John Horton, was murdered and who has been very much a part of moving this effort for justice and accountability. But before we jump into our discussions, we're going to dive into our headlines with Kim Holmes. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
BLM, this is not a drill, continues when we come forward.
I love a girls' weekend, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin, thanks to Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy.
You can usually find me in the kitchen, but my active psoriatic arthritis can limit me at times. Now I'm still in the mix with Skyrizi to treat my joint symptoms.
With Skyrizi, most people with plaque psoriasis saw 90% clearer skin when measured from head to toe at 4 months.
Or if you're an adult with active psoriatic arthritis, Skyrizi helps you move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. There's nothing like clearer skin.
There's nothing like better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. 10 Toes In serves as a mentorship and domestic violence prevention program. They support, educate, and empower couples during and after incarceration. They assist male returning citizens to re-enter society successfully and to help them maintain a healthy relationship with their romantic partner. They offer a mentorship support group for formerly incarcerated men. 10 Toes In teaches its Intimate Relationships 101 curriculum at male prisons throughout the state of California. They host sister support group meetings for women who are intimately involved with incarcerated and formerly incarcerated men. 10 Toes In is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. To access their services or make a donation, please visit them online at 10toesin.org or find them on Facebook or Instagram. They are healing lives through relationships. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The KBLA 1580 app puts the realest conversations right in your pocket. Stream live wherever you are in the world. No static. No searching the dial. A crystal clear connection 24/7, exactly when you want it. We recommend that you keep automatic updates enabled. Set it and forget it. So the app stays up to date with store requirements, bug fixes, and new features as we roll them out. Download the KBLA 1580 app today and stay plugged into the conversation everyone's having.
You're listening to BLM's This Is Not a Drill. Now, back to the conversation. Keep on. Never say die. Keep on. Like this. Keep on. Never say die. Keep on. Like this. Never say die.
And welcome back. I'm Baba Akil, and this is Not a Drill on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm here with Kim Holmes, and we're going to jump into our headlines. I love this. I listened to this tune for many years. Be optimistic. It's the sounds of blackness. I remember when it came out, and I thought, man, in this time when we are under attack, fascism is rising everywhere. We have got to remain optimistic and understand that we are winning. Welcome, Kim, and you're going to jump into the headlines with us. And thank you so much for joining us.
I know, all late running in here.
No, you're good.
All late. Good morning, y'all. It's Black August. On today's show, we'll be discussing the month-long commemoration of Black freedom fighters and political prisoners who call on us to fast, study, train, and fight. This is not just a month. It is a disciplined devotion to the legacy of those who turned cages into classrooms and oppression into uprising. Joining us in conversation are Kalajini Changa of Black Power Media, Dr. Akinye Umoja of the Black Malcolm X Grassroots Movement, and attorney James Simmons of Black August Los Angeles. Baba Keely. I hope I didn't mess up their names. That was
No. You did a good
all
job,
right.
particularly since most of them will not be joining us.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Oh, I missed.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. But we talked with them last week. But it's a good to be reminded about the meaning, value, and impact of Black August.
Okay. So this week, District Attorney Nathan Hochman announced that
Boo.
I know, right? An LAPD whistleblower will face 16 charges for recording a private conversation containing racist, sexist, and homophobia remarks made by another officer that framed their hiring and interdepartmental practices. The district attorney continues to disregard LAPD misconduct while criminalizing activists and failing to prosecute the killer cops responsible for the deaths of Keith Porter Jr., Brendan Glenn, Christopher DeAndre Mitchell, and Linda Baraka Moran. Hochman was elected with the backing and funding of the police associations, working in interest of the police and against the will of the people. Every Wednesday at 4 p.m., meet us in the streets. Oh, that's separate.
But it's something we do
Anyway,
every
it is.
Wednesday.
I know. I was like, I want to talk about that first. But I mean, this is beyond. This is beyond. So you're going to criminalize a whistleblower basically just to show people like, don't come forward with this kind of stuff. It's like, focus on what's been recorded, right? Like that should be the focus.
Well, and that's why there's a lot of backlash. The mayor and other people have issued statements around that this is sending the wrong message, and it is. And the message that he is sending, which is why we are opposing Nathan Hochman, is that keep your mouth shut. When you see wrongdoing, when you hear wrongdoing, keep your mouth shut. Don't say anything. And I think that that this is one of the reasons why we protest every Wednesday.
That's not how. Let's do that again, Baba Keely.
Okay. Every Wednesday. That's part of the reason why we protest. And Nathan Hochman needs to go. We've started our campaign by Nathan Hochman, and he is going to join Jackie Lacey, Kevin De Leon, Beck, Moore, and others, because it's time for him to go. When he should be focused on the statements that were made, the racist and homophobic statements. Like you said, he's focusing on the person that shared those statements. And so this is, like I said, one of the reasons why we are opposing Nathan Hochman and will continue to oppose him.
Yeah, this is something that we are going to have to really, which we do every time we've gotten rid of other DAs.
Yes.
And we are going to get rid of him because we can't continue. This is just an oppressive police state that we live in, and we can't have elected officials that we put in office continue to perpetuate it. It's definitely an issue. I just want to go back to the previous headline about Black August. So I bought Blood in My Eye.
Oh, good.
Like, no, not recent. Hold on. I bought this years ago and participated in Black August discussions and things, but never read it. So I understand what it's about and all that. But this year I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm going to read it this year.
Great.
So I'm following along with the program that Dr. Abdul is doing, and I'm gonna, I'm doing it. So it's a really good book.
It is.
I'm like, what is wrong with me? So
it's better late than never. So glad you're doing it.
But yeah, so that's really exciting. This is definitely, particularly what's going on now in the country and in the world, that we really need to focus on building ourselves up so that we can fight against what's happening, because things are just getting worse. And it's like we don't even have a moment to breathe before the next person is brutalized and murdered by the police or the police state. So yeah, it's definitely a difficult time right now. And this is an exciting month to be able to reinforce who we are, what our strengths are, and what we need to do going forward to make sure that we are all safe and protected. Every Wednesday at 4 p.m., meet us in these streets in front of the Hall of Injustice for BLMLA's weekly End Police Associations rally targeting District Attorney Nathan Hochman. Black Lives Matter LA protests the district attorney every Wednesday at 4 p.m. in front of the Hall of Injustice, 211 West Temple Street. And if you see DA Nathan Hochman out and about, press him for his complicity in state violence. And if you know of an upcoming appearance, let us know. at info@blmla.org or DM us on social media at BLM Los Angeles or at BLMLA, because we want to know. Remember the Scarlet Letter? Did you read that book?
Yes,
I know nobody who's
yeah.
ever's listening is like, what's that book?
Yeah, but I mean, what we really want to do is show both the people and Hockman that your lies, your misrepresentation, and the fact that you have not represented the people, you have not been transparent, and you certainly have not held the police accountable is unacceptable. And we are going to challenge you. We've challenged them at Dorsey, we challenged them in Redondo Beach, and we challenged them in West Hollywood last week. So 2 weeks ago. And so wherever he is, we are going to challenge him. We are going to confront him, and we are going to disrupt. He does not deserve to be the district attorney. He's taking money from the police association. He does their bidding, and he does not prosecute killer cops.
Yes, absolutely. Join us on Sunday for our monthly general meeting. Every second Sunday of the month, meet us at the Center for Black Power right here in Africatown, or what some people call Amert Park. We meet at 7 p.m. And as always, there'll be a hot dinner. And if you haven't been active in a while, this is a great time to come and participate. This month's meeting is going to be, we're going to have like I said, it's a good opportunity to reconnect to the movement. We plan to hold deep community discussion on Black August. Together, we will come up with ways to embody the 4 tenets of Black August, which is study, fast, train, and fight. Uplift current political prisoners like Mumi Abu Jamal, Jay Burton, Rodney Hinton, and Carmela Anthony, and share some ways you can practice the politics of Black August in your own lives this month.
And we are glad to be joined this morning by Harold Welton, who will be sharing with us tomorrow at our monthly organizing meeting, BLMLA's monthly organizing meeting. Good morning, Harold. Thank you so much for joining us. Harold is going to be presenting, and Harold, you've presented with us almost every year that I can remember. So anyway, good morning, Harold, and welcome to KBLA.
Good morning.
1580. So please share with us some of the key aspects of Black August. And once again, you're going to be joining us tomorrow, and we want to give out the address. But welcome, and thank you so much for joining us, Harold Welton. Good morning, Harold.
Thank you. Good morning.
So go ahead, Harold.
Go ahead.
Yes, but I'm going to ask you a quick question. Some quick background on Black August.
Okay, the genesis of Black August began in January of 1970 when 3 prisoners were murdered by Soledad guards, Cleveland Edwards, Alvin Miller, and W.L. Nola. This incident occurred when the guards allowed white inmates and black inmates to come on the yard together, which they had never done before. Predictably, a fight occurred and only black prisoners were murdered. Shortly after that, a guard at Soledad prison was found thrown over a tier and died. The San Marin County courts indicted George Jackson, Frida Drumgo, and John Cluchette for the murder. Point on that is the guard was thrown over a 3rd tier in the prison. With George and the other comrades were on the 1st tier. That means that they had to climb up 2 or 3 stories to do that. And then well, I'm not gonna say that. Okay, but and in February of 1970, Frida Drumgo, John Cluchette, and George Jackson were indicted for these murders. In March of 1970, the Frida Soledad Brothers Committee was organized here in Los Angeles. That was organized in the beginning with Angela Davis heading the Free the Soledad Brothers Committee. In August 7th of 1970, Jonathan P. Jackson, George Jackson's younger brother, went into a courtroom armed and stated, "All right, gentlemen, I'm taking over." And the purpose of this takeover, this rebellion, was to free the Soledad brothers. In the court, one of the prisoners was on trial for allegedly assaulting a San Quentin guard. In that hearing at the time was William Christmas, James McClain, and Ruchell McGee. They, when Jonathan stated to the prisoners in the courtroom, he said that all those that want to come with me, come with me. And he took so-called hostages and included a judge. When they got to a van Jonathan had waiting outside in the courtyard, the San Quentin guards, with their policy of murder, no prisoners, no hostages will be allowed to be taken. They killed everyone in the van except for Ruchell McGee. Shortly thereafter, a movement started to free Angela Davis because Angela was accused of supplying the guns. She went to trial after she went underground first, and she was captured maybe 6 months later in New York and brought back here. And for a year and a half, maybe two, there was the Free Angela Davis movement, of which Angela was free. Ruchell McGee went to trial twice, and he was declared guilty in each of the trials. Ruchell did a total of 67 years in prison, and he did 8 years in Alabama and the rest in California.
And Harold, from what I understand, he could have been released earlier if he'd have made some deals. Is that right?
That's right. But Ruchell refused to make any deals with the system, prison system, the system, period. Eventually, a movement started, the Black August movement started in August of 1979. August 1st of that year, a prisoner named Katari Goulden was playing, prior to that, he was playing football, and he got hurt bad, and they let him die. They didn't give him any medical attention or anything, so they let him die. That's when the Black August movement started. And my beloved comrade, G2, a founder of the Black August movement in 1979, was involved in that. And I would say in the early 2000s, the Black August Los Angeles formation began. Black August Los Angeles formation started following through the education of G2. We started following the Flea Days. Flea Days are the first, the opening. Then you have the 13th, that's for political prisoners, essentially. And that was in dedication to Katari Goulden. I forgot to mention that August 7th, which is dedicated to the August 7th revolt. And then August 13th, dedicated even though it happened in January of 1972, the 3 comrades that were assassinated in Soledad prison. The opening is August 1st. August 7th again is Jonathan Jackson. August 21st, George Jackson, political prisoners. And the closing, which will be at the Black Power Center this year, is on the 31st. And I want to add that on the 22nd of Black August this year, which we've been doing since 2011, we're going to have the Black August Martyrs Tour Sites of Resistance, is where we will be going to different sites to give respect and honor to different things that happened in LA. One of them will be 41st and Central, where LAPD attacked Black Panther Party headquarters December 8th, 1969, and tried to kill everybody. And there were 11 men and women in the building. They tried to kill everybody, but didn't succeed because the Panthers fought back, shot back, and all of them survived. Eventually, they went to trial, and all of them were acquitted of the alleged attempted murder of LAPD, etc. I think it was two. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to remind people about that. That is also when SWAT was formed. And so that's one of the things. And you're listening to Harold Welton with the Black August Los Angeles Coalition, and he's explaining to us about the beginning, the emphasis, and some of the activities that are going to be going on in Black August. You can also, Harold is going to be joining us tomorrow at the Center for Black Power at 3423 West 43rd Place, right on the corner of Crenshaw and 43rd Place, because Black Lives Matters LA is going to be commemorating and discussing more with Harold Black August. And so you should come out and join us. We're going to wrap for our headlines. We want you to stay tuned and listen more to Harold and more than the hashtag. We'll be joined by Sister Helen Jones. Her son, John Horton, was murdered by sheriff's deputies in the Men's Central Jail in March 2009. So we want you to stay with us because we got a lot to talk about.
BLM's This Is Not a Drill continues when we come forward.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Homeland Security Secretary Markwayne Mullen is in South Texas meeting with Border Patrol agents and inspecting the floating border wall.
Border buoys, they don't serve a purpose unless you're constantly patrolling them and keeping them up.
About 10 miles of buoys are already in place, with 7 more miles planned to deter illegal crossings. The U.S. Justice Department says Duke University School of Law used race as a factor in its admissions process in a way that violated federal law. Investigators say Black and Hispanic applicants were admitted at higher rates than similarly qualified white and Asian applicants. The department is seeking a settlement with Duke, but says it could sue if no agreement is reached. Duke says it is reviewing the findings and remains committed to following the law. And NBA star James Harden is no longer facing a gun charge in Texas. A Houston judge dismissed the misdemeanor after Harden completed an alternative resolution program. The charge stemmed from a June traffic stop when police found a handgun in his car. I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now.
Compassion sponsorship means food, healthcare, education, and most of all, being known, loved, and protected. There are thousands of kids waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Text the word radio to 83393.
Just in case you missed our Procrastination Crenshaw Town Hall.
Been dealing with the lies of Crenshaw Destination. I live on this street. I remember the first day I came and it was no parking. And they said it'd be 6 months just to fix the wall. They started putting the big boulders down, and my life has changed ever since then. My kids haven't had graduation parties. They haven't had birthdays. My car's been in the shop multiple times. All my tires have been replaced multiple times. Each one, I spent $1,000 on my front lawn for the 6 months. Keep replacing sprinkler. Now it's just dirt. You know, it's frustrating because I'm not a politician, but I know politics. You know, and I know the Smiley said the councilman, but I want to go above that. Karen, you want my vote? Make things happen. Talk is cheap. We can play these games, period. Because you can't fix it, somebody will.
Not letting them get away with anything. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom? She started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
All I need is one mic.
With the KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. August 5, 2026. Dear LA City Council President Marquise Harris Dawson, on behalf of a coalition of businesses and residents that constitute the Crenshaw Corridor community, we write to request that a concrete timeline and resources for fully completing Destination Crenshaw within a year be developed and announced. A year is the outside time it should take, and we hope and expect that it can be finished considerably sooner. We also request the immediate establishment of a business interruption relief fund for the merchants, entrepreneurs, churches, and property owners who have borne the disproportionate economic burden of the prolonged delays associated with the Destination Crenshaw project, and a resident relief fund for the residents of the corridor who have been most adversely affected by the prolonged construction and delays associated with this unfinished development. Destination Crenshaw was presented to this community as a transformational investment in Black culture, Black commerce, and the future of South Los Angeles. It has now been 6 years since the project broke ground and over 2 years since the promised completion date. Construction has stalled with no apparent end date in sight. The Crenshaw Corridor community embraced the vision of Destination Crenshaw, but the obstruction from the delayed construction has caused prolonged health and safety hazards, uncertainty, reduced customer access, declining revenues, disruptions, and mounting financial hardship. A broad spectrum of the community expressed their frustration over these delays and the impact they have had on the community at a standing room only July 30th town hall at Bethesda Temple Church, widely covered by the media, including ABC, CBS, Fox, and NBC. The burden of these unexplained delays should not rest on the shoulders of the Crenshaw Corridor community, which acted in good faith and supported this historic project. If the city fails to provide a complete and substantive response to this correspondence within 30 days of the date of this letter, the Crenshaw Corridor community reserves its right to pursue all of its rights and remedies. Sincerely, the Crenshaw Corridor community. To read the complete letter detailing all of our demands, go to our website at KBLA1580.com. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
BLM's This Is Not a Drill on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes, that's Brother Curtis Mayfield. And welcome back. You're listening to This Is Not a Drill. I'm Baba Akili, and I'm here in the studio with Kim Holmes on KBLA Talk 1580. And I want to thank Brother Harold Welton, who you can hear more from tomorrow at 7 p.m. at the Center for Black Power at 3423 West 43rd place. Brother Harold will be talking with us more about Black August, its history, its background, and what's happening today. And Brother Harold Welton is a member of, and I think one of the founding members of Black August Los Angeles. He's going to lay out some more background, some more activities that are going on. So you can hear him tomorrow. Please join us tomorrow for a hot meal, a bag of groceries, and a good time. And we want to thank Brother Harold for joining us. And we are going to move on to our host, to our Helen Jones, the mother of John Horton, who was murdered by sheriff's deputies in Men's Central Jail March 30th, 2009. And I have been on the front lines with Helen many times as she's spoken, many times as she's talked about her son. She has been fighting for transparency and for accountability for her son since 2009. And she is now working with DPN, but still on the front lines, helping other families who have had to go through her horrible experience. First of all, let me welcome Sister Helen Jones. And the first thing I want to find out from you, Helen, and thank you once again, is tell us a little bit about John Horton and then a little bit about what happened. So welcome, Sister Helen Jones.
Thank you so much, Baba Akili. Thank you so much for having me on. Yes, my name is Helen Jones, and I'm the mother of John Horton. John was murdered and beat to death March 30th, 2009 in Men's Central Jail by the 3,000 Boys Deputy Sheriff Gang members. These members of the 3,000 Boys that run the third floor of Men's Central Jail, where so many of our community members have been killed, neglected, abused. And this gang of sheriffs still run the Men's Central Jail to this day. They one of the known gangs that is in Men's Central Jail, in the sheriff department as a whole period. They one of the known gangs, deadly gangs. They beat John to death.
Well, Helen,
Uh-huh.
let me do this, if I may. Tell us a little bit about John, the kind of son he was, the kind of person he was. We want to make sure that we know about John. And then I'd like for you to, if you would, share what they say happened and share what you found out that happened. So tell us a little bit about John Horton, your son.
My son, John Horton, John was 6'2". He loved to exercise. John loved his family. He wanted children, which he never had a chance to have any, but he wanted a large family. John would spend his last dime at the ice cream truck, and all the kids knew that he was going to spend his money and make sure that he tried to make sure everybody had something and didn't leave with nothing from the ice cream truck. That's what he was known for in our community. John also was an artist. John was a music producer. He was also a rap artist. He was a brilliant writer. John loved his community of Watts. He always told me, he said, "Mama, if I ever, make it in my music, I'm gonna open up a youth center in the community of Watts." He said, because at the time when, before he got killed, it wasn't one there, right, in our community, like in walking distance for everybody. And that's something that he wanted to put in there. And he just loved music. And John always said that, it's so much hard out here. And if we just come together, it's so much that could be changed. So he even felt like that, even, at that time. And he was like 21 at that time before he was incarcerated. And the sheriff department accused John of killing himself. They came out and tried to say that John hung himself, but John's liver was busted. John's kidney was busted. John's intestines was busted. John's nose was broke. John was hit in the head with the flashlight, with the lines of the flashlight still on his head. He was also hit in his temple. And while they was beating John, John was handcuffed by one wrist because that wrist was left with the print of the handcuffs on there in flesh. So it was a clear flesh ring around his wrist where the handcuff was so tight on him on one wrist while they was beating him. They also busted a 2-inch muscle in John's back. Also busted John's spleen was also missing. They said that they washed his spleen down the garbage disposal at the county corner on accident. But I believe that's one of the things that really killed John. But John bled to death. John, our pathologist said John bled out in his own body. He bled from all these different organs. And the county coroner tried to say that John, they put out that it was suicide. But
how is that possible?
Yeah.
Exactly. And 7 months after John was killed, the chief of the county coroner changed John's cause of death from suicide to undetermined because they didn't want to put murder down there.
And since 2009, what have you been doing, and what more have you found out about what has happened?
Since 2009, more community members been beat. I mean, a lot of folks since they said that they would close Men's Central Jail. We have lost over 200 and something community folks since they said that they was going to close this jail. And so many lawsuits, so many families have been, really threatened by law enforcement. So a lot of folks even scared to even to file a lawsuit against the sheriff department because how deadly their gangs are. But they have killed and neglected many of people after they killed John, and have killed many of people since. And the sheriff department is covering it up. The LA County coroner is covering it up. And we have worked with UCLA, Dr. Kill, and Nick Shapiro on going through these autopsies, and they still doing this right today at UCLA in their labs. And it's just the proof showing, going through the autopsy, how many community members has been beat, and the county coroner put down whatever the sheriff department tell them to put down.
And how
tell them to put.
I was going to ask, how did you find out about what happened?
Well, what I did was when the pathologist told me it was undetermined and was suicide and other undetermined factors. And I was like, what do you mean other undetermined factors? So when I got John's autopsy report, I took it home and I just got on the internet and just read up on everything. I just went through the whole autopsy from the front to the back and taught myself how to read an autopsy so I can know for myself what happened to my child. Even though I know that they didn't put all of John's injuries down, I really don't feel like they put everything down, because I really feel like his legs probably been broken, his hands, something was wrong with one of his hands, like it was wrinkled real bad, like if it had been held in water or something. So I know I don't have all of John's injuries, but I taught myself how to read the autopsy report.
But first of all,
I found out what happened to John.
I want to continue to offer our condolences with listening to Sister Helen Jones, the mother of John Horton, who was murdered by sheriff's deputies in Men's Central Jail on March 30th, 2009. As we come forward, we want to talk more about what you would like to see in terms of accountability and justice for John Horton. So you're listening to KBLA Talk 1580. Stay with us. We got a lot to talk about.
BLM's This Is Not a Drill, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The BLM Center for Black Power is a hub for Black activism in the city of Los Angeles, a standalone nonprofit affiliated with Black Lives Matter LA. The venue is home to live events, meetings, and organizing drives for Black-led community-based organizations. It is also the base of operations for Black Lives Matter LA. Built on what used to be a nuisance property owned by an arms dealer, the BLM Center for Black Power is in the heart of Leimert Park and has opened its doors to everything from youth organizers to toy drives to film screenings and community town hall meetings. To make a donation or make a request, please visit blmla.org. That's blmla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, Black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
This November, you'll decide who leads California. So shouldn't you hear directly from the people asking for your vote? Join us for California Voices, a political town hall and ballot forum, Saturday, October 3rd, 2026. Meet candidates running for governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, and other major statewide and local offices, including Mayor of Los Angeles, city attorney, and LA County Sheriff. Get clear, nonpartisan breakdowns of the propositions on your November ballot, both sides, no spin. And ask your questions directly, in real conversation, face to face. California Voices is brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and the Empowerment Congress, giving you the information you need before you vote. Mark your calendar, Saturday, October 3rd, 2026, California Voices. Follow KBLA 1580 for details and download the KBLA 1580 app. Your vote, your voice. Be there.
BLM's This Is Not a Drill continues right now.
And welcome back on KBLA Talk 1580. This is not a drill. I'm in conversation with Sister Helen Jones. Her son, John Horton, was murdered by sheriff's deputies in Men's Central Jail March 30th, 2009. And every time I've heard you share this story, Helen, every time I've heard you talk about what happened, every time I've heard you your powerful presence and your powerful voice at many of our rallies, at many actions that we've done, I'm always hurt and shocked when you share what your investigation found out. That you and I want to acknowledge. I know this couldn't have been easy for you, but the work that you did to find out what really happened and have been demanding accountability ever since. So help us. What does accountability and justice look like for you? And thank you so much for being willing to do the work. And thank you so much for always joining us and sharing your story and really incentivizing many of us to take action. So what does justice look like for you?
Thank you so much for uplifting this. What justice look like to me is, first of all, is for everybody to have accountability in their cases, because it is so many mothers that have died, and haven't seen justice for their children. They know their children did not get killed, so it's first accountability. Justice would look like the Board of Supervisors holding the sheriff to their foot, to the lies that they telling families, abuse, how they robbing families out of their loved ones, how they robbing family members out of their lawsuits, out of their cases. It's not the money. We want accountability, and we can't get that. And the sad part about it is we have to fight civil to even try to get to a criminal. And it's so hard that, for families, when they find out that how hard it is to get your case, first of all, to get somebody to take your case, but then to fight your case out when you can't even get the right reports. You're getting reports that are altered. So what justice looks like to me is accountability. The county coroner be held accountable. The Board of Supervisors holding the sheriff accountable. Like all the measures and all the laws that's been passed, Measure J, Measure A, Measure R, all the stuff that's been fought by folks that's not here today, but have stood and woke up early to get out here for years to make these laws and these measures pass, and they're still not being upheld. So that's what accountability look like to me, is the sheriff department being held accountable for these covering up all these deaths, the county coroner being held accountable for covering up all the deaths that they're covering up and that they're still covering up today. So that's what accountability look like. I hope all the families that's out there fighting, that's trying to get accountability, get accountability. And we haven't seen that yet.
Well,
period.
And one of the things that you and others have been working on, and we're going to be talking about this, is Measure J. That was on the ballot. It passed, and one of the key features of Measure J was the closing of Men's Central Jail. And that would be a way to get some degree of accountability. And tell us a little bit more, Helen, about what you have been doing. I mean, you did the research yourself to find out what really happened. When you brought this information forward, when you started asking questions about, well, what about this and what about that? Who were you talking to, and what was the response?
Well, I was talking to the county coroner, the Board of Supervisors, the sheriff department, and just like they do with everybody else's case, covered it up, said that, just turning their head, looking the other way. And I guess they say, hey, long as we don't do nothing, and long as don't nobody else do nothing high up to shut this down, she just running her mouth. And that's just what it feels like, because when the Board of Supervisors when the Board of Supervisors know about these cases, they get to see the autopsy report, they get to see the photos, so they know exactly what the sheriff department is doing. They know that the county coroner is covering this up because you actually see the photos. You actually get to see what's going on, exactly what they're doing inside Men's Central Jail. So that's what we're doing at Justice LA, and so many others also, BLM and others have been fighting to get this jail closed down for years. It should have been closed down. And I just want to say this. They know that, right, this year somebody died in the county jail system every week. We're losing to death somebody. Every week, somebody has lost their life. So look how many family members have been suffering every week since the year began.
Well, one of and this happened in 2009. So you mostly have been fighting this certainly since 2009 by yourself, but others have joined you. Uh, you know, Black Lives Matters came around a few years later, and we heard. I remember the first time I heard your story. It was testimony at a Human Relations Commission meeting that was down in Watts, and I thought, man, that's terrible. But you made such a powerful presentation, a powerful case, and I thought, man, there's something we got to do. And once again, I want to thank you for your presence, your commitment, and your work that you are doing now with Dignity and Power Now. Are you working with other families so that in an effort to seek some accountability with your work with DPN and some of the other things that you're doing?
Yes, I do. I work with the families, unimpacted families, with Dignity and Power Now, and with Justice LA. And, yes, so anytime, most times families hear about what we're doing out there, what we doing to try to get justice, trying to get this jail shut down, because we know that long as the jail is open, somebody will die in this jail. Somebody will walk in the jail and will never walk out. And nobody know who that would be, because somebody is dying every week. Every week, somebody is dying.
Well, thank you so much for your work. And tell us how we can support your struggle and justice for John Horton and other families. So how can we follow you? You give us all your social information, all the DPN information, and to connect with and support the work that you're doing.
Well, they can reach out to dignityandpowernow.org, and they also can reach out to Janet at Justice LA. And get involved in the work. And you could go to our website at dignityandpowernow.org and just look at our website and see how you want to get involved, because there's so much stuff. We have different programs. We have a youth program that I co-run. It's called Project Stop the Line Youth Leadership Program. We also have Forever Rooted for those that's been incarcerated. Also, we have health and wellness. So just go to our website and just see how you would like to get involved. So it's a lot of things there that might interest you, and we welcome you in the fight.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We're talking with Sister Helen Jones, mother of John Horton. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Homeland Security Secretary Markwayne Mullen is in South Texas meeting with Border Patrol agents and inspectors.
Okay.
Visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Just in case you missed our Procrastination Crenshaw Town Hall.
Literally right in front of our doorsteps the last 2 to 3 years, we have been interrupted by this nightmare project called Destination Crenshaw. The desire was partnership at the onset, but we've seen broken promise after broken promise. We've seen our parishioners impacted. We've seen our peers and our local neighbors impacted directly by this. We've seen the crippling of the Crenshaw economy as a result of this project starting and then ultimately walking away. And we're not going to just lay down. We're not going to just, amen, pretend like nothing's happening on our doorsteps. And tonight, I want to get out of the way because I want to hear from you. I can stand there as a pastor and tell you how many times we've been interrupted from our flow of worship, how it's impacted our ability to provide services to our community, how the blight and how the construction derailment has hindered our ability to amply run our food pantry programs, to offer summer camp programs for our young people, how the construction impacts just our ability to be able to come to church in part. I can go on about how it's interrupted just our day-to-day operations and being able to accommodate the needs of our community.
Making sure they stick to the truth. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, and just like the river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but
Yes, a change is going to come. I'm Baba Keely, and you're listening to This Is Not a Drill here in studio with Kim Holmes. We're live on KBLA Talk 1580. And if you just heard Sister Helen Jones, if you just heard how she talked about what's been happening, and what happened with her son John Horton, which contributed to Measure J and the whole Reimagine LA. We're going to be joined today by Maya Coleman of Reimagine Los Angeles and the Measure J Coalition, and of course our good brother, Dr. David Turner of $1 Million Hoods. And we're going to be talking about first, what was Measure J and what is Reimagine LA? And then we're going to be talking about stopping the harm, the cost of stopping the harm that Dr. Turner has been involved in. And of course, we're going to always remind you and invite you to join us tomorrow as we commemorate Black August and come out at 7 p.m. at 3423 West 43rd Street. So, Maya, I'm going to jump in with you and ask, and Maya Coleman is with Reimagine Los Angeles and Measure J. So I'm going to ask you, Maya, if you would take us back to one, Measure J, and two, Reimagine LA. What was Measure J and what is Reimagine Los Angeles?
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having us here, Baba Akili. I'm glad to be able to be in space with you all. Again, my name is Maya Coleman. I serve as the Outreach and Organizing Coordinator with the Reimagine LA Coalition. And to walk us back to Measure J, back in 2020, right after the Alternatives to Incarceration report came out in 2019, the community wanted a change, right? There were the uprisings that were happening in 2020. Things were very heightened after the murder of George Floyd. And I think folks were really recognizing what was going on and wanted a substantive change. So that's when the Reimagine LA Coalition was formed. It's a group of community organizers, service providers, and community-based organizations based here in Los Angeles County that came together to move a ballot measure, to draft and mobilize around a ballot measure. And this ballot measure, Measure J, is basically a measure that mandates LA County to reallocate no less than 10% of their annual funding, which is their flexible dollars, towards alternatives to incarceration. So that's looking at investing in housing, youth development, ODR, the Office of Diversion and Reentry, to help keep folks out of jail. All of that to help support jail closure and uplift our communities so there's not the need to commit crime and end up incarcerated in the first place.
And for me, one of the major components of Measure J was the closure of Men's Central Jail, where we just heard Sister Helen Jones talk about how her son John Horton was murdered there, and I, like many of us, worked on Measure J to help get it passed, and that was a key feature, the closing of men's central jails. And to date, the Board of Supervisors hasn't done that yet. So, what's the status of Measure J? Did they do everything that was called for? Are there still struggles? What's the status of Measure J now?
Yeah, I mean, there are absolutely still struggles with Measure J. I mean, I'm employed to try to get full implementation of Measure J. So that just states how much of a struggle there is, that we have to have organizations, that have full-time staff working to implement this measure that should have been implemented already, right? The first problem with Measure J is the lack of full implementation when it comes to funding, right? As we wrote Measure J, LA County is supposed to reallocate no less than $900 million annually. Now, we've received over $500 million new dollars over the past 5 years. That's a problem. If we were to really be fully funded, we did the math, that would have been $4.5 billion to our community over the past 5 years. That equals just 1 year of the sheriff's budget. So how are we supposed to be closing down a jail if we are not fully funding Measure J, and we are funding the sheriff's department at a rate that our community isn't even getting over 5 years? So that's one huge issue for us. A second piece around where we are on jail closure currently, the county, the JCIT, the jail closure implementation team, just recently did a presentation at some of the clusters and the Board of Supervisors meetings, where they now have a 5-year plan. It's been 6 years since they committed to closing down this jail. And it's been 7 years since the Alternatives to Incarceration Board came up with a 3-year roadmap to jail closure. Yet we are now looking at jail closure possibly in 2031. And that's even if it's fully resourced by the Board of Supervisors. So there's still quite a bit of struggles with full implementation of Measure J, and the Board of Supervisors and the county taking it seriously. They talk about care first a lot. They say our language, but they're not actually putting their money into our communities. And I think that's a huge problem.
And that's one of the things that I and many of us struggle we've had successes, but we got to fight to make sure that they're implemented. And I'm going to turn to Dr. David Turner, who is no stranger to This Is Not a Drill and the KBLA, and one of the people who have worked with us on our people's budget, who's been a powerful voice in our community. Dr. David Turner is with $1 Million Hood organization, and you just finished a report on the cost of harm, Dr. Turner, and how is that connected to the Measure J and the whole Reimagine LA? So first, I want to talk to you about your study and your report. So some background on it and what are some of the results of it. So thank you so much, David, for joining us, and talk to us a little bit with $1 Million Hoods. Talk with us a little bit about the cost of harm, your recent report.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I just want to give a really big shout out to Maya, big shout out to Megan and the whole Reimagine LA team. Because without their sort of insight and brilliance, right, like we don't get this report. So I think, to a point Maya made earlier, right, that Measure J in the last 5 years has seen roughly 500 million, right, when it should have been in the billions by now. One of the things that we were asking ourselves is, well, I mean, if we've seen so little, right, where is the rest of the money going? And one of the things that we wanted to look at, right, was, well, we know the sheriff's operating budget, right, and probation's operating budget is huge, but what are we actually paying just for the violence that they even admit to committing? Right? What are we paying for that alone? So our research team at the $1 Million Hoods Project at UCLA, and for those who don't know, the $1 Million Hoods Project is a project that works to map the fiscal and human costs of incarceration. We wanted to look at, well, how are we paying for these things, right? And even more so, what is this costing taxpayers, right? Like, what are taxpayers coming out of pocket for? So the cost of harm report looks specifically at LA County's litigation reports, right? So when you hear the word litigation, think about them being sued. And every time the county gets sued for an act of violence, harm, or misconduct, right, that the probation department and the LA County sheriffs have committed, right? And I want to also clarify that what we found in our report does not include the big $4 billion lawsuit, right? That probation is now caught in the middle of. It does not include those numbers, right? So if we included those numbers, the entire report changes. But right, looking at all the numbers without that $4 billion lawsuit, we still get $1 billion over the last 12 years, right? That LA County taxpayers have paid on behalf of the violence that they have committed to people, right? And to break this down even further, we wanted to do a per person cost analysis, right? So again, it's not enough to just say, well, yeah, like LA County taxpayers are paying $1 billion a year. So what does that mean for you? What does that mean for individuals here in LA County? If you own a home, right? If you own a home, you're paying a minimum of $19 a year, right, out your taxes to cover the cost of carceral violence, right? So if you are a homeowner, right, at minimum, right, you are throwing $20 to that, right? If you are not a homeowner and you are a resident of LA County, right, you're paying a minimum of $3.32. So how we like to explain it or describe it is, if you've ever seen those random credit card charges that come on your card because you subscribed to something and you forgot about it, right? That's what's happening to you. And that's what's happening every single time the police pull a trigger, and then we have to pay for it, right?
Well,
Every single time somebody dies in LA County jails, every single time some of those young people are harmed in the facilities, right? That's what happens. And to close on this point, I'm sure we'll get into more of the specifics later, right? We also did a per cost analysis, right, of
David,
what
let
it.
me do this.
Yeah,
Let me do this because I want to move forward with you. You've got a lot of information, and I want to make sure you have enough time to cover all of it. We're talking with Dr. David Turner of $1 Million Hoods Organization, Maya Coleman of Reimagine Los Angeles, and Measure J. And we want you to stay with us as we move forward and we continue to discuss the cost of harm. Thank you so much. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
I love a girls' weekend, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin, thanks to Sky Rizzy, Risankizumab Rizz.
David?
Oh, I was gonna say, my bad, y'all. I was getting ready to get going.
No. And we just had to move into a break. I want to pick up, if you will, with more of your research. And then I want to connect it back to how does that connect to Measure J, the cost of harm, and the fact that we've never gotten the full amount that was supposed to be allocated for Measure J, and have some discussion about the whole concept of divest invest. So I want you to finish with your report, and then Maya, I'm coming to you. Okay? All right. Thank you. And thank you so much, David. How long, one of the things I'm going to ask you is, how long did this study take, and when did you complete it? So it's out now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's out now. I was trying to drop the link in the chat, but the chat wouldn't let me. So I'll try again.
All right. We should be coming back in 3 minutes. Okay. All right. Thank you.
So that's a link to the report right there. It's in the private chat.
Just an FYI, we got breaks every 15 minutes. So 9:30, 9:45, and then the show's done at 10. So, nobody likes cutting anybody off. That's the worst.
Okay.
But like, you could just kind of keep that in mind so that we don't have to be like, as they're like telling us, you gotta go to break. So we go, because the other thing is, because we really want to hear what you're saying. It's really important information, and we want to make sure we're getting all of it.
Got you.
No static. No searching the dial. A crystal clear connection 24/7, exactly when you want it. We recommend that you keep automatic updates enabled. Set it and forget it. So the app stays up to date with store requirements, bug fixes, and new features as we roll them out. Download the KBLA 1580 app today and stay plugged into the conversation everyone's having.
Unapologetically progressive, unapologetically black. More now, BLM's This Is Not a Drill.
Hey, and welcome back. I'm Baba Akili. I'm here in studio with Kim Holmes. And of course, we're live on KBLA Talk 1580. And we were talking with, and I'm excited to have with us, Dr. David Turner and Maya Coleman. And Dr. Turner, you were giving us the kind of breakdown of the cost of harm that you studied from the $1 Million Hood. And you were talking about what taxpayers are paying because of the cost of harm. And one of the things for me that was unique about Measure J is that it placed emphasis on making life a little more affordable and directing resources toward the services that we need. So on the one hand, we are each of us are, according to you, and I want to get back to your report, are paying an additional $20 every year for the harm that's being done. That means that there's less resources for the services that we all require. So tell us a little bit more about the report and other information that you found out that came from the report.
Absolutely. So again, right, like if you are a property owner, right, like 58% or roughly 58% of LA County's larger general fund comes from your property taxes. So we wanted to do an analysis of exactly like, okay, so if that's the case, then where is that going? And then when we talk about these litigation costs and the cost of all these payouts every time, right, the sheriffs and probation harm somebody, how is that money being allocated? Right. So, that's where a big piece of our conversation came from. Now, two quick points that I want to make, right? The first is that LA County does not do the best job of being able to like clarify where their money is going and how they're spending it. So we spent about 6 months poring over reports and looking through, right, like, okay, how are these different lawsuits being allocated? What counts as like excessive force versus what counts as civil rights, etc. Trying to make sense of all these things, right? And we were able to come out with some data from that. But I think some of the most pertinent things came out of the most recent year's report from 2025. So in 2025, LA County spent $117 million on litigation costs, right? Just connected to probation and the sheriff's department, again, not including the $4 billion.
How much was that again? Say it again.
$117 million. So for every dollar that we spent on, sheriff and probation litigation costs, we spent, again, for every, imagine this as a dollar per dollar thing, right? For our Department of Youth Development, which is also, supposed to be partially funded, right, through some of the work of Measure J, we spent $3.61 for on carceral violence compared to our young people, right? So imagine, right, like we have a small pot of money. And in this pot of money, right, we're allocating $3.61 for every dollar we spend on a young person. That is how bad this is, right? The same goes for our Justice, Care, and Opportunities Department, where we spend, $2 for every time we actually support, or we spend $2 right on carceral violence compared to supporting our folks who are coming home, or folks who actually need resources, etc. Right. So when thinking about some of these costs and thinking about some of these issues, right, like it was pertinent for us to be able to highlight and show, right, the community that their tax dollars, right, are disproportionately, right, being spent not only just on the operations of the sheriff's department, not only on the operations of probation, but also on the violence that they commit. And with that being said, right, like this is why, we need to push the county to reimagine how it is that they're thinking about their budgets, to push the county to reimagine how it is that they're thinking about these issues. Because if you prioritize paying for the sheriffs to, violently sexually assault people in the middle of the desert, like they did in one of these cases, or pull a school bus driver out of his car and beat the living crap out of him, right? Like if this is what we're paying for, right, and we can't necessarily invest in our people, then we have wrong priorities, and we need to reimagine what those priorities look like. And that's the work of the Reimagine LA Coalition.
So Maya, that sets you up. I mean, so we the people passed and voted for a Measure J that would reallocate that would really begin to address this cost of harm that Dr. Turner and the Million Dollar Hood did the report on. So where are we now in terms of redirecting, divesting, and investing? And we want to welcome you to call in at 1-800-920-1580. We're talking about reimagining Los Angeles. We're talking about rethinking, reconsidering how we spend our money and what's really important. So, given that report that just came out, how does that impact the work that you and others are doing around Measure J, and how do we get to the reimagine phase, Maya?
Yeah, thank you for that. I mean, the cost of harm report really helps inform the work that we're doing. And it also helps us be able to give political education to folks that may not be tapped into this fight, right? Like there are a lot of homeowners in Los Angeles County that may not be paying attention to Measure J, or may not be paying attention to the fight to close Men's Central Jail. But when we bring these dollars to them and show them that they're paying for violence, it kind of helps them gain their footing in the fight. It helps them take ownership of their $20. It helps them open their eyes to what is actually going on. And I think like when we talk about all of these dollars that have been spent on carceral violence, to me, it's a no-brainer. That's one of the reasons why the county can't fully fund Measure J. The county often talks about how they can't fully fund it because they're in debt, or because they have all of these other things that they have to pay for. Now, what are those things? Litigation, a $4 billion lawsuit for probation officers to harm our youth that's not even included in the report. I sit in these Board of Supervisors meetings week after week, and at the very bottom of the agenda, every single week, they're approving more litigation because of sheriff and probation harm. Whether it's the sheriff crashing into someone on the street because they were driving too fast or not paying attention, or whether it's beating someone when they're trying to arrest them, when they're criminalizing our folks, and then our folks end up being arrested in Men's Central Jail for police violence. There have been 300 people that have died in Men's Central Jail since the Alternatives to Incarceration report passed. And all of those deaths, most of those deaths come with pieces of litigation and lawsuits as well. So I think like when we ask, where is the money going? It's going to violence. It's going to harmful systems that keep us in this cycle of not truly being able to implement the reimagining that we've all done of Los Angeles County. The roadmaps are there. Community is constantly talking with the Board of Supervisors around what's the next step that we see? How can they achieve Measure J? Where can they take dollars from to invest into the communities? You know, we've talked about vacant positions as an additional funding stream that they can use to fund community measures. But one of the things that we've been told recently is that the dollars that are tied to those vacant positions are being used towards litigation or towards other things that the department is going over their allotted budget for. And they're tapping into those vacant position dollars. And so it's like we're just stuck in this cycle because, to be honest, LA County doesn't know how to manage money. If I managed my personal money the way LA County is managing their money, I would be broke. You know, and I think when we talk about like the lack of resources as well, because these dollars are going towards harm, we see in the most recent State of Black LA report, homelessness for Black folks over the past couple of years has increased. You know, the amount of Black young students that are graduating high school has decreased. You know, the life expectancy of our Black folks have decreased. And that's the opposite of what we wanted to see with Measure J, right? If we had the full implementation, we would not be in this space where things keep declining and regressing.
And I think part of what you're saying is, well, at least, and I can speak for those of us who worked on the campaign, there was this belief and notion that if we could redirect resources to care, not harm, that we would have a better, safer society because we know we keep us safe. But in fact, all of the efforts, it seemed like, is either to ignore Measure J and and continue to invest in the carceral system, or dismiss what the people voted for. And I think that's been one of the most discouraging things about the whole Measure J and Reimagine LA. It's hard to reimagine if you think you don't have money. One of the things that Dr. Turner and Dr. Jolivet talk about is abundancy, that we unfortunately live in the perception of a scarce, is that there's only so much money and we can only do this. And I think what your report underlines, Dr. Turner, is that there is resources. It's just how we choose to use them. We're going to move forward. We got a couple of calls that are coming in. You're listening to This Is Not a Drill, KBLA Talk 1580. We're talking about reimagining Los Angeles. We're talking about rethinking, reconsidering, and fighting for a better Los Angeles. KBLA Talk 1580.
BLM, This Is Not a Drill, continues when we come forward.
I'm Tammy Eswick with BIN News Now.
This is not a referendum on President Trump. It is a decision regarding Mr. Blanche in specific circumstances. All considered, I would vote for Mr. Blanche.
That's Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy announcing.
When we come back, we got two people on the phones, so I'm going to go to the phones and then come back to you all. Okay, we should be back in 4 minutes.
Sounds good.
About Lionel Richie, Earth, Wind, and Fire. A new date for a concert is expected soon. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Join the Dodgers for Max Muncy Game 7 Home Run Bobblehead Night on August 10th versus the Royals. The first 40,000 fans in the ballpark will take home this exclusive Max Muncy bobblehead presented by AMPM. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
This November, you'll decide who leads California. So shouldn't you hear directly from the people asking for your vote? Join us for California Voices, a political town hall and ballot forum, Saturday, October 3rd, 2026. Meet candidates running for governor, lieutenant governor, Attorney General, and other major statewide and local offices, including Mayor of Los Angeles, City Attorney, and LA County Sheriff. Get clear, nonpartisan breakdowns of the propositions on your November ballot, both sides, no spin. And ask your questions.
Say or spell his name.
Uh,
Mikhail.
Mikhail, he always
And
calls in.
Rebecca from Agora Hills is on that.
Okay, all right.
Before you vote, mark your calendar. Saturday, October 3rd, 2026, California Voices. Follow KBLA 1580 for details and download the KBLA 1580 app. Your vote, your voice. Be there.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
All I need is one mic.
With the KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. August 5, 2026. Dear LA City Council President Marquise Harris Dawson, on behalf of a coalition of businesses and residents that constitute the Crenshaw Corridor community, we write to request that a concrete timeline and resources for fully completing Destination Crenshaw within a year be developed and announced. A year is the outside time it should take, and we hope and expect that it can be finished considerably sooner. We also request the immediate establishment of a business interruption relief fund for the merchants, entrepreneurs, churches, and property owners who have borne the disproportionate economic burden of the prolonged delays associated with the Destination Crenshaw project, and a resident relief fund for the residents of the corridor who have been most adversely affected by the prolonged construction and delays associated with this unfinished development. Destination Crenshaw was presented to this community as a transformational investment in Black culture, Black commerce, and the future of South Los Angeles. It has now been 6 years since the project broke ground and over 2 years since the promised completion date. Construction has stalled with no apparent end date in sight. The Crenshaw Corridor community embraced the vision of Destination Crenshaw, but the obstruction from the delayed construction has caused prolonged health and safety hazards, uncertainty, reduced customer access, declining revenues, disruptions, and mounting financial hardship. A broad spectrum of the community expressed their frustration over these delays and the impact they have had on the community at a standing room only July 30th town hall at Bethesda Temple Church, widely covered by the media, including ABC, CBS, Fox, and NBC. The burden of these unexplained delays should not rest on the shoulders of the Crenshaw Corridor community, which acted in good faith and supported this historic project. If the city fails to provide a complete and substantive response to this correspondence within 30 days of the date of this letter, the Crenshaw Corridor community reserves its right to pursue all of its rights and remedies. Sincerely, the Crenshaw Corridor community. To read the complete letter detailing all of our demands, go to our website at KBLA1580.com. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
Welcome back to BLM's This Is Not a Drill, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
And welcome back. I'm Baba Akili. I'm in studio with our co-host Kim Holmes, and we've been talking about Reimagine Los Angeles and the cost of harm. I'm going to go to the phones. We have Rebecca on the line from Agora Hills. Rebecca, you're on KBLA Talk 1580. What you got?
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for addressing this important topic. Short background, I live out in Agora Hills. I am serviced by the Lost Hills Sheriff Department. This is the same Lost Hills Sheriff Department that's responsible for the disappearance of Mitrice Richardson, the mishandling of her remains when her body was found, and just also the Kobe Bryant helicopter crash. They were taking pictures of the bodies and spreading, so a lot of corruption there. Well, a few years ago, when the Sheriff Oversight Commission issued their reports on the deputy gangs, I noticed that my local city council was going to hear a motion about instructing the Board of Supervisors not to approve the report that came down, the recommendations to address the report that came down to, reform the Sheriff's Department. And so this recommendation, this letter to the city council said that the sheriffs were going to be required to transfer all their sheriffs that were in the current Lost Hills Sheriff Department to other sheriff departments in an attempt to break up all deputy gangs in LA County. And I said, that's not true. So I wrote a letter to the city council just to oppose it. But that was a public comment. I didn't attend the hearing from the city council hearing, but later found out that recommendation came from, guess who? ALADS, Association of LA Sheriffs.
Uh-huh.
So I was suddenly on their hit list, and I started receiving all kinds. Well, the good news is the city council, Glory Hills City Council, didn't, approve the request. They weren't going to send a letter to the Board of Supervisors, but the other cities, around here already had all cities with white city council members. You got Lost Hills, West Hills, Calabasas, Westlake Village. All of them had already approved the letter. So those city council members started attacking me and saying I was an anarchist. And this was all ALADS lobbying Malibu too. In fact, at the same time, there was another motion. I think Lindsay Horvath and Supervisor Solis had proposed a depopulate the jails proposal. So I did go to one Malibu city council because I knew ALADS was going to be there, and they were already attacking me locally. One city council member in Calabasas got my Nextdoor account taken down only because I posted that the city council of Glory Hills refused to approve the letter to the Board of Supervisors. But at Malibu City Council, it was like a hysteria that the county was going to depopulate the jails, and all those people, that's what one city council member said, all those people will be coming to Malibu. So I want to know, what has been ALAD's reaction to your report? I'm curious.
Great question, Maya and Dr. Turner. First of all, remind us who ALADS is and what have they done in relationship to Reimagine LA and specifically Measure J.
Yeah, so the ALADS are the police union, so to
We
speak.
don't call them unions; they are associations. They have never supported working people.
We do not like to call them unions. We actually like to call them the sheriff's mafiosos, because that's how they act. And we hear in what the caller just shared that was how they were acting, right? So when it comes to Measure J, we definitely have experience with the ALADS. When Measure J was passed in 2020, the ALADS campaigned against Measure J in the first place when it was on the ballot. And then there was even more interference with Measure J that caused Measure J to be challenged by the courts, right? So back in it was either 2020 or 2021. I can't remember the year exactly, but the Measure J was brought into challenge by Judge Mary Strobel in the courts to be held as unconstitutional. And that was a huge part propaganda by the ALADs, you know, them talking to different people, getting all of their mafiosos together and challenging Measure J. And yet Measure J was held constitutional. So that was another win for the people, that Measure J is the law of the land. It is reinstated. And but anytime we want to move something that's truly beneficial to our folks and scares the sheriff's department that they're not going to be able to criminalize our folks at the rate that they would like to, or that they'll lose any money, the ALADs are consistently coming up and essentially trying to disrupt that process.
And I think that they took, if I remember, they took you to court after Measure J was passed. We got one other caller we're going to try to get in, and then David, I want to come to you. Mikael, welcome to KBLA Talk 1580. What you got for us?
Shalom. This is Mikael. I don't know what to do as a people, because they just do so many crimes on us. I mean, it's just thousands of crimes. Nolan Wells, the brother in Madison, Wisconsin. And we need to, like Dominic DePrima said the other day on the radio, it's not what you do, because I don't have no felony, I don't have no misdemeanor. They did not to get me. It said not what you do, it's what you know. You know, like I said before, you know, that the Most High is black and he's going to pay white people back. It's coming in a matter of time. But we have to fight our way through this to stand up. You know, I love what y'all doing. We have to fight because there's injustice. And economically, you know, I lost my job at Dodger Stadium a few years ago and filed a lawsuit to get it back. I really need an attorney. I wish I can get in touch with Ben Crum to help me. But, you know, we have no rights, we have no justice, and the judges are crooked. What can we do? I don't know what to say. This is, I want to get in touch with the athletes, the black athletes, to start the Negro League, so we can have our own jobs, you know, and we don't have no gas stations, we don't have no airline, no. What can we do? They discriminate on us. What can we do? I don't know what to say.
Well, and we are doing a lot. We are fighting back. First of all, we are resisting. We're fighting back in every capacity that we have. Certainly many of us have been, I for one have been involved in fight back and fighting forward for over 55 years. But I think one of the things that your point makes, Mikael, is that it seems overwhelming. And growing up in the segregated society, you just kind of, that's how it was. But people we have always fought back since 1619. I'm sure there were some brothers on the ship that was going, wait a minute, we can do this. And so we have a history of fighting back. We have a history of resilience, and we have a history of succeeding. And so one, I would ask you to continue to, fight back with us and others. And more importantly, don't give up. I mean, don't assume that there's nothing we can do. We are on KBLA Talk 1580, and we're talking about Reimagine LA and Measure J and the cost of harm. We're on with Dr. David Turner of the $1 Million Hoods and Maya Coleman of Reimagine Los Angeles and Measure J. This is KBLA Talk 1580. This is not a drill.
BLM's This Is Not a Drill, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for voting rights. The midterm election campaign season is here now. The 2028 presidential election is right around the corner. When We All Vote is a leading national nonpartisan initiative on a mission to change the culture around voting and to increase participation in each and every election by helping to close the race and age gap. Created by Michelle Obama, When We All Vote brings together individuals, institutions, brands, and organizations to register new voters across the country and advance civic education for the entire family and voters of every age to build an informed and engaged electorate for today and generations to come. When We All Vote empowers their supporters and volunteers to take action through voting, advocating for their rights, and holding their elected officials accountable. It's all in for 2026 and 2028. Please visit whenweallvote.org to stand up for your rights, voting rights. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, Black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today. Just in case you missed our Procrastination Crenshaw Town Hall.
While Gavin was telling the story about the mural at LAX, I kid you not, Gavin, somebody just texted me a photo of it. See, this is unacceptable. That inside of LAX, they have a mural. These gorgeous, beautiful pictures of Destination Crenshaw. It don't look nothing like this. We don't know when they're going to restart or when they're going to finish, but they're marketing and promoting this inside of LAX. It's not right, y'all. It's just not right. You can't exploit us in that way, right? Get the project done, then you can brag about it. But can we finish it first?
Keeping them in check. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to BLM's This Is Not a Drill. Now, back to the conversation.
Let's get back to the conversation. I'm going to jump right in to with you, Dr. David Turner, and give us, if you will, a little bit more about the report and what else that you found out about how we are spending our money and how we are not spending our money. So give us, if you will, a little bit more about what's in the report and the overall message.
Yeah. I think I want to give a special shout out to the students that worked on this report with me, so Dr. Gene McAdoo now, who just graduated, so shout out to him. Abdullah Puckett, Amy Cohen, Mateo, Abrego, Colorado, right? Like, I definitely want to give a big shout out to them. And our new project director, our very own Dr. Tabitha Jones-Jolivet. But I think there are some things about the report that, don't really hit home for people until you actually hear the stories. So the first piece, right, is, again, we wanted to do the big per person cost analysis. And then the second was break down the spending compared to other departments. But nothing was more heartbreaking than actually reading the cases themselves. Right. Reading what happened to people. We make a note earlier in the report about like, we're not telling people that if they experience harm from, the county, that they shouldn't sue. In fact, we encourage it, like, because somebody should actually be paying for, the type of harm your family experienced. And even then, no amount of money is going to bring back a life, right? No amount of money is going to repair the harm. But somebody got to pay, right? So we don't discourage that at all. I think for us, like, we try to question why it is certain things are happening, but to give you examples, right? Just one example. In 2016, a woman who chose to remain anonymous, I mean, for reasons, of course, was awarded $6 million in a lawsuit after LA County Sheriff Officer Jose Rigoberto Sanchez put her over and asked her questions such as, "What are you willing to do to avoid arrest?" He then took her to a remote part of the desert and sexually assaulted her. It's these kind of violences, right, that happen to people in our community, right, that leave people particularly vulnerable, right. So again, LA County homeowners contributed a minimum of $1.50, right, to cover the cost of Jose Rigoberto Sanchez sexually assaulting this woman.
And that's
That's what that means.
And I think that the cost of harm, and I think that it's appropriately called, and thank all the people who worked on it with you, including our own Dr. Joe Levette, Tabitha Joe Levette. But the constant message that we're hearing is it's hard to reimagine a new LA or a different LA or a better LA if we're spending or overspending money on one, incarceration, and two, the harm that people do in the name of law enforcement. And so you can't have it both ways. You can't, on the one hand, say we got to have police and we got to have sheriffs and the rest, but then overspend on them and underspend on the services that you need, and then on top of that, pay off all these lawsuits. And so, give us, if you will, David, the name of the report, and then Maya, I want to ask, how can we follow what's being done with Reimagine LA and Measure J? So, David, if you would give us the name of the report, it's out now, and where people can get it.
Absolutely. So you can get the report from our website at Million Dollar Hoods, right? You can also find it, with the Reimagine LA Instagram page and other social media pages. I will happily drop the report link in the chat, as well as the link to the Million Dollar Hoods page, so that way you can see it. But you would go to Million Dollar Hood, spelled the way how it is described, .pre.ss.ucla.edu. You go to our website, and you will be able to find this report. And from there, right, like, please share it with your friends. The information is all free. Again, because it's important for us to be able to, as Maya said, right, reshape the narrative on what it is we're spending our money on.
And Maya, how do we follow the work of Reimagine Los Angeles and Measure J?
Yeah, so you can follow us on our social media. It is at reimagine_LA. And there we'll post different mobilizations for actions. You can also find more information about our monthly organizing meeting space. So for, those of you who listened in today and were wondering, like, what can we do? That is a space where we have different trainings and we do skills building things with different folks in the community to help you take ownership over this fight and get involved in this fight as well. So that's a great space to plug in if you don't know where to start. It will, following us on Instagram, we also have all of our upcoming actions and different, like, budget town halls to explain the budget and things like that there as well. You can also head over to our website, which is just reimagine.la. And you can subscribe to our calendar there as well, so you can be up to date with all of our actions and different ways to get involved. There's also a lot of political education on the website if you want to dive deeper into any of the timeline and the history of Measure J as well.
And Maya, I want to thank you so much for that, and repeat the website information again, if you will. But also, I want to ask you very quickly, what's in the future? How do we move forward with Measure J? Where are we now with it? So repeat the website and give us what the future looks like for Reimagine LA and Measure J.
Yeah, so the website is reimagine.la, and our social medias are at reimagine_LA. And
the future.
And right now with Measure J and in the future, we are still moving Measure J dollars through the vehicle called Care First Community Investments, or CFCI. And through that, we are still fighting for full implementation of Measure J dollars. In that place, we are allocating dollars towards different community-based organizations. And I know we talked a lot about like the struggles of Measure J today, but I do want to name that there have been a lot of wins in that space as well. There have been over 400 community-based organizations that have been resourced, and dollars have been allocated to those organizations that have been able to expand their services and pay their staff a living wage. So currently, we're continuing to advocate for more funding in that space. And involve that advisory body to advocate for more funding at the county level as well.
All right, so we're going to keep in touch with you. We're going to move to our call to action.
Yes, I'm going to handle that for
Please
you,
do.
Baba Keeley. The number one call to action is come to our Black August event at our monthly organizing meeting at 3423 West 43rd Place, 7 to 9 p.m. on Sunday. We got free hot meals and we got a grocery bag.
Yes.
Even if you're like, I don't know about Black August, but you got to have the food and the groceries. So come and you'll learn and organize and develop community with us. So please join us. We've got a bunch of petitions that we want y'all to sign. We want you to pledge to participate in the boycott Walmart. tinyurl.com/boycott Walmart now. Petition to fire McDonald. tinyurl.now/fire McDonald. Another petition, tinyurl/Keith Porter Justice. We got to get this officer, ICE officer, whoever he is, fired and prosecuted for murdering him. Come out to the End Police Associations every Wednesday at 4 p.m., 211 West Temple Street. Follow the work of Black Lives Matter Grassroots at BLM Grassroots and BLMLA at BLMLA. Let's get it.
And I want to thank our guest today, Dr. David Turner of $1 Million Hoods, Maya Coleman of Reimagine Los Angeles and Measure J, and Harold Welton of Black August Los Angeles. And please come. And I want to thank Helen Jones for joining us, the mother of John Horton. And thank Philip on text. We got David on the boards. Thank you so much. This is not a drill. We look forward to seeing you next week.
KBLA 1580 Santa